Imagine a library burning. But the librarians aren't trying to save the books for the future. No, they are burying them, hiding them. Not from fire, but from an even greater threat, the truth itself. For decades, we've been told a comforting tale about the Dead Sea Scrolls, a shepherd boy, a chance discovery, a time capsule of ancient wisdom. That's the sanitized version. The reality? It was a panic room, a desperate act of preservation. In 68 AD, as the Roman 10th Legion marched with brutal efficiency to slaughter them, the guardians of Qumran didn't just hide scripture, they hid evidence. Evidence of a Messiah that predates Jesus by a century. And that, my friends, changes everything. For over 70 years, the Dead Sea Scrolls have captivated historians, theologians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Discovered in caves near the ancient settlement of Qumran, these thousands of fragments represent the oldest surviving manuscripts of the Hebrew Bible, alongside a treasure trove of sectarian texts. They offer an unparalleled window into Judaism during the Second Temple period, the very era in which Jesus lived and taught. The official narrative, the one most of us grew up with, paints a clear picture. Christianity emerged as a radical, unprecedented revelation. Jesus, the Son of God, performed miracles, died, and resurrected, ushering in a completely new covenant. His divinity, his teachings, his very identity, all presented as a unique, divine intervention in human history. But what if the scrolls tell a different story? A story that challenges the very foundation of this originality. The flagrant discrepancy lies in this very concept of originality. Standard biblical canon presents the divinity of Jesus and his specific miracles as a radical, new intervention. Yet, hidden among the dusty fragments of Qumran are texts that force us to ask uncomfortable questions. Questions that have been whispered in academic circles for decades but rarely shouted from the rooftops. Take, for instance, Scroll 4Q246, often called the Aramaic Apocalypse. This text, dating back to the late 1st century BCE, a full century before Jesus, contains specific, unmistakable phrases. He will be called the Son of God, and they will call him the Son of the Most High. Let that sink in. These titles, which we associate so profoundly with Jesus in the Gospels, were already in circulation, already part of Jewish messianic expectation, long before the Gospels were even written. This isn't a subtle hint. It's a direct challenge to the idea that these concepts were entirely new with Jesus. But it doesn't stop there. Then there's Scroll 4Q5221, the Messianic Apocalypse. This fragment describes a Messiah who will perform astonishing acts. He will heal the wounded and revive the dead and bring good news to the poor. Sound familiar? It should. These are almost the exact words Jesus uses in the Gospels when asked by John the Baptist's disciples if he is the one who is to come. The idea of a Messiah who performs these specific miraculous deeds, healing, raising the dead, was not a radical new concept introduced by Jesus. It was a pre-existing theological expectation within a sect of Second Temple Judaism. So, who were the people who wrote and preserved these explosive texts? They were likely the Essenes, a devout, ascetic Jewish sect who lived in Qumran. They believed the Jerusalem temple priesthood had become corrupt, and they saw themselves as the true Israel, preparing for the coming of a Messiah, or even two Messiahs, one priestly, one Davidic. They were separatists, purists, living a communal life dedicated to study and ritual purity. In 68 AD, their world was shattered. The First Jewish-Roman War raged, and the brutal Roman 10th Legion was advancing. The Essenes knew their time was short. They didn't just hide their sacred texts, they hid their entire theological framework. They buried their beliefs, their prophecies, their very understanding of the Messiah deep within those caves. It wasn't just about preserving ancient scripture. It was about safeguarding a truth they believed was too dangerous, too subversive for the Roman-backed powers that be, or perhaps even for the emerging Christian movement, to fully comprehend or control. This forces a profoundly difficult question. Did the Gospel writers record history as it unfolded, or did they adapt an existing Qumran script, a pre-existing Essene theology of a dying and rising Son of God, to fit the life and narrative of Jesus? The scrolls suggest that Christianity may not be a completely new, radical revelation, but rather a powerful evolution, or perhaps even a deliberate adaptation, of an already developed Essene ideology. Consider the timeline. The Essene texts, with their fully formed messianic expectations, predate the Gospels. It's not a stretch to imagine that these ideas, these concepts of a divine Messiah who heals and raises the dead, were part of the intellectual and spiritual landscape of Judea during Jesus' time. The early Christian movement, seeking to articulate Jesus' unique significance, could have drawn upon, or even consciously integrated, these existing theological frameworks. This isn't to diminish Jesus' impact or the profound spiritual experience of Christianity, but it does reframe the narrative. It suggests a continuity, a deeper root system for Christian theology than often acknowledged. It implies that the newness of Christianity might lie not in its core messianic concepts, but in its interpretation, its universalization, and its eventual separation from its Jewish roots. The scrolls, hidden for 2 millennia, now reveal a complex tapestry where threads of Jewish messianism and early Christian belief are intricately, perhaps inextricably woven together. So, why were these scrolls hidden? Was it purely to protect them from Roman destruction? Or was there a deeper, more profound reason? Were they hidden because they contained a truth that, if widely known, would have fundamentally altered the perception of early Christianity? A truth that might have challenged the authority and originality claimed by the nascent church. The great lie, then, isn't necessarily a malicious deception, but perhaps a convenient omission, a narrative crafted over centuries that emphasized uniqueness and divine rupture rather than evolution and continuity. The scrolls, in their silent testimony, force us to confront this. They invite us to look beyond the comfortable stories and delve into the messy, complex, and utterly fascinating origins of one of the world's most influential religions. What do you think? Do the Dead Sea Scrolls expose a hidden truth about the origins of Christianity? Or are these parallels simply fascinating coincidences? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If this video sparked your interest, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries, and share this with anyone who loves a good historical puzzle. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of the great lie. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking the truth.